thank you to all of our sponsors, and you can see all of them up here. They all put this together, and a bit of our agenda today. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about Prospanica, who Prospanica is, and who I am, Jackie Bouvier, and why we're here today. And then we'll introduce the panelists, and we'll open it up for a discussion where they've received these questions, and they're going to answer some of these questions. But you'll have an opportunity for a Q&A where you'll be able to ask any question you like, and hopefully within the alignment of this amazing, amazing theme today, okay? Prospanica Denver is a chapter, and we are here. We've been around for over 30 years. It used to be the National Society of Hispanic MBAs. And the name changed to Prospanica because we want to be more inclusive, and we are, and we have been, of other different degrees and opportunities in the professional development of different corporations and different professionals in the whole country, not just here in Denver, Colorado. Our chapter is composed of the board members that you see here on the screen, and if there are any board members, please stand up, and let's give them a hand of applause because they did such an amazing job putting this together. And I do want to give a shout out to Claudia, our marketing team, and Claudia for doing such a great job with all the flyers and getting the word out and putting it all out there. So thank you, Claudia. We appreciate you very much, and we appreciate the entire board. And not everyone could be here today, as you know, because of the time, but thanks for being here. We're on a mission to empower, enable Hispanics and professionals to achieve their full educational and economic and social potential. So in this alignment, like I said, we have different areas for more than 3 years that we have served in our community within the education and providing scholarships, professional development, networking opportunities, and even job opportunities for a lot of our people and a lot of our friends, right, and our members, which are very important to us. And so with that said, we have an area where we focus on community impact, and within that area, our community impact opportunity is within Denver Startup Week. And so we use this opportunity to highlight businesses and highlight our Latino Hispanic leaders in Colorado during Denver Startup Week. I mean, that's awesome, right? I was just telling someone here on the panel that we were one of the pioneers at Denver Startup Week with the opportunity to bring shine the light to what is happening with all of our entrepreneurs here. So we're super excited that this year there were more than 6 different panels, Latinos, Hispanics, and we're making noise, como en español, estamos haciendo ruido, right? And super excited for that. So without, going on with Prospanica, I just want you to know that you guys are welcome to join us, welcome to listen, welcome to see what else we're doing. And there's more at the end because we have an event coming up on the 29th at Mi Casa Resource Center. So you guys are all invited. Bring your friends, bring people. It's just amazing. And learn what the membership offers, because it's important to be part of a group, part of a familia. In my case, when I was getting my MBA, I looked up Prospanica, and it was something that just helped my life. It helped me feel part of a familia, and it helped me align. So with that shameless plug now set aside, we want to welcome our panel, and our panelists are here. Look at those beautiful pictures, you guys. So our panel name is Having a Hispanic Culturally Influenced or Community-Focused Business. And that's a competitive advantage, don't you agree? We want to know how they did it, right? We want to know how they became the success that they are, and how, and what the secret sauce is. What did they use? What were those tactics? What were those techniques? What was the strategy, right? So that's why we're here today, to figure out how these amazing trailblazers, catalysts, pioneers got to the success where they're at now. So I'm going to say their names and their titles, and then after that, I'm going to give them an opportunity to introduce it, because everybody loves to talk about themselves, don't they? So first off, I'm gonna say, actually I'm gonna go from here down. So we've got Jose Sanchez Melean, editor and co-owner of El Comercio de Colorado. Then we've got Liz Gonzalez Lara, co-founder, CEO, Dos Amigas Meals, Beauty on Location. Then we've got Tamil Maldonado Vega, co-founder and COO, Raíces Brewing Company. And then right next to her, we've got Victoria Garcia, founder, CEO, Apapacho Cacao, Latina-owned collective. And right next to her, we've got Diego Montemayor, founder and CEO of Chamba Inc. And last but not least, Jerry Natividad, President and CEO, American Facility Group. You guys, this is a diverse panel. Thank you for being a part of this year's Denver Startup Week event, and I'm honored. I'm truly honored because I know the success that you guys have acquired, but I also know that you all come from different industries, different areas and backgrounds, and you've all used your culture and you've used who you are to impact the community and to utilize that passion that aligns with that competitive advantage that we want to hear about today, right? So let's just, go on and let's get started. Oh, you guys don't ask any questions yet. That was the computer. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to start with the first question. We're going to start with you, Mr. Jesus. And then we'll go down the line, and I don't think we have enough microphones, so just go ahead and pass them down after you speak. And just feel free to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what you do. Tell us your story. Give us your elevator speech, right? Why don't you share about who you are? Because I can stand here and tell everyone your bio, but there's nothing better than hearing it from you. Please go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Jackie. Every time that I receive a call from Jackie, I say yes. I don't know what she will be telling me, but I say yes. She is a real leader. She is an inspiring person in this community in many different areas. So in addition to that, because I am the first, I need to say I am honored to be in the same panel of all of these people. I know all of them and one the achievement of each of them, because my area is reporting, making stories. So I need to know all of them, and then I have been familiar with their achievement in order for telling stories. So it is hard for me in this case, so I am used to tell a story for other person, and in this case, Jackie is asking me to tell my story. I am originally from Venezuela, from the western area of the country, which is I am near from Colombia. From my home to Colombia is 20 minutes. So I am Venezuelan Colombian person from the Caribbean. I like salsa, merengue, reggaeton, all of that, because I am from this area. I was trained as a political scientist, but the life put me on the communication world. Since I was maybe 20 years old, after finishing the university, I went to the communication area in different areas. And then when I was 20 years old, 28 years old, I have the opportunity of being part of a new newspaper that was being created in a city that have only another newspaper of 100 years. So we need to innovate and create a new animal. So we create in Venezuela the first newspaper using Apple and using a network and produce only entirely by computers. I am talking about many years ago, but it was an experience that created an important impact on me, because after that I continue working on that. And then Chavez came, and it was a need for leaving the country in any way. At that moment, I got a Fulbright scholar or a scholarship, and then went to the U.S. as a scholar to study, and then I complete a master's degree and PhD in history, and then came back to my natural work, which is the newspaper. So now I am the owner of a publication here, El Comercio de Colorado. You can identify as a newspaper, but in reality is a multimedia platform, because we are in the printed industry. I have copies for you now, and then also we do digital products, newspaper, website, social media, newsletter, and all kind of videos and all of this face life that is possible to do. So I am in this. This is my short story.
Thank you as well, Jackie and Prospanica, for having me. I'm honored, and same as to be here with this panel, and hopefully I can contribute. Part of my story can inspire somebody here. My name is Liz Gonzalez Lara, and I am the founder of Beauty on Location Studio in 2007 here in Colorado. The long story short is that I started as a hair and makeup artist myself, freelancer, and then, hard work, which the questions will come as to how did we do it, but we grew the company, and now we have about 35 contractors, and we specialize in weddings, mobile in the mountains. We have another team in California, and it's going great, except in 2020, when everyone knows what happened with the event industry. We had the year fully booked. It was February, early March, and everything was looking amazing. And then, of course, that first weekend of March, the world shut down, and I found myself with all these cancellations, and it was a little bit overwhelming the first day. And then I love to solve problems. I am a problem solver, and instead of going home to cry, I have a really, really good friend that we had been talking about partnering and starting a completely different business, nothing related with beauty. And so I called Erica, and she called me almost at the same time, because we knew that was the time to, okay, a week later, we already had the business, not necessarily a formal plan, but we started delivering Mexican frozen food to homes. And that's when Dos Amigas Meals was born in March of 2020. And COVID was sort of a blessing in disguise, and we always honor and remember all the losses that brought us. And Erica and I decided to start Dos Amigas Meals and bring a frozen delivery of delicious Mexican food to people's doorstep when all the restaurants were closed and people were craving something different. And it was, the perfect timing for us. And again, more questions will come up, and I'm happy to answer the how and why, but it's been fun. And then, of course, 2021 came, and everyone that had canceled in 2020 rescheduled their weddings. So here I am, very tired, running two really busy businesses. Yes, yeah, of course, thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Tammy Maldonado. I'm Chief Operating Officer at Prices Brewing Company, and now this year also Executive Director of Cultura. Both of us, we are the producers of Suave Fest. So Suave Fest, I'm going to show this really fast. Suave Fest is happening on September 30th. It's the Latino Craft Beer Festival in the nation. We do it here in Denver. And we are bringing 18 different Latino-owned breweries at the space. And it's happening at the South parking lot of Raíces, where we highlight Latino-owned breweries from all around the state. And we're very happy to support Latino-owned businesses. Not only the breweries, but also the festival had the chance to bring a platform and highlight vendors, artisans, food trucks, cuisine, and also performers, right? So it's 6 hours of really intense Latinidad. Yes, and I love it. You will love it too. The ticket, actually, with the ticket, you get to flavor 50 different styles of beer that are produced by Latinos. So it's a form to support, that you can support and you get to know a little bit of what is done by Latinos within the craft beer industry. And I'm gonna go backwards now. So I'm Caribeña, I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico, I grew up over there. And in my other life, I was a scientist and a mathematician and applied mathematics. I studied my master's in applied mathematics, my bachelor's in computational mathematics, and I studied atmospheric sciences. All of that I applied in a brewery. I'm gonna tell you how. In my side work throughout my life, I've always been involved in self-managed organizations, either through community, with artistic groups, folkloric groups. So I was also on that side, belonging to different folkloric groups, musicians, all of that side. And at that moment, it was my relaxing time. I came to Colorado, to the National Center for Atmospheric Sciences as an intern, and I loved Colorado. And I said, I'm gonna move here. In the meantime, I got pregnant, I had my baby, and I decided that I wanted to continue as a contract person. At that moment, I already had a Barrio E, which was one of the organizations that foster arts and culture in Colorado, Latino arts and culture. And with that, we started to see a need of really valuing identities, Latino culture, cultural heritage, all of that. And it just happened that with the evolution of that, we decided to create a space where we can be sustainable in focusing on the community and the cultural piece. And that's where Raíces was born. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Raíces later, and I'm going to pass it on to...
That was so inspiring. I'm Victoria Garcia. I'm the CEO and founder of a couple businesses just like these. Apapacho Cacao is an artisan cacao company based here in Colorado. We launched in 2021. We have 3 cacao blends that we sell. And then the Latina-owned collective was an idea that I launched in 2020 that transformed into a business this year. So Latina-owned collective is a community for Latina entrepreneurs and leaders who are looking to support one another and elevate themselves both personally and professionally. I've been a part of many business groups in Colorado, and I too was craving Latinidad in the business community, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find communities that looked like me, and I like to wear loud colors and big earrings, and these corporate events I kept attending were filled with men and brown and black and gray colors, and so I'm like, I want to start a community that celebrates Latinidad, celebrates Latina entrepreneurs specifically, and Latina leaders. That's how Latina-owned collective was born. I was born in Mexico City. My parents were also born and raised in Mexico. I'm the first generation to be raised here in Colorado. I was raised in the mountains of Colorado. I'm a native. And so I've grown up my whole life feeling truly feeling truly like I am truly bicultural and I'm bilingual. So I've always existed at the intersection of both of my cultures. I like to say que soy de aquí y soy de allá. I used to say no soy de aquí y ni soy de allá, but I don't identify with that anymore because I'm like, wait a minute, I am both. I am a true fusion of the American culture, the Mexican culture, and that's okay, and I'm proud of that. And so, like my fellow panelists here, I will talk a little bit more about how I fused both my American and Mexican identity into my entrepreneurial endeavors, and I also want to express my gratitude to Jackie, my dear friend, for extending this opportunity. I admire you, I love you, and I'm so honored to be on this panel with all of these powerhouses, so I will pass the mic on to you, Diego.
Jackie, thank you so much for the invitation. Super honored also to share the stage with such seasoned and experienced entrepreneurs here. I'm a first-generation Mexican immigrant. I am also a first-time founder, figuring things out. I am co-founder and CEO of Chamba, and we help Latinos get jobs in the hospitality industry through technology. So super excited to be here and super fortunate to be building this company in Colorado, which is a great ecosystem for startups.
Thank you, Daniel. Jackie, like my friend at the far end of the panel, I'm going to say this, is that when you call and ask, it's extremely hard to say, I'm busy. And in my case, I'm normally not in the country, but I knew I had to be here today. In any case, as you all know, my name is Jerry Natividad. I am the founder and the president and CEO of American Facility Services Group. We're a company that got started back in 1989. And so as of this year, we're 34 years old. And it is, you know, it's hard to describe how you achieve success in the business world. I've been around, as I've said, for a long time. This is not my first rodeo with American Facility Services Group. So I actually started in business when I was 29 years old. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am now. I will tell you I graduated from high school in 1969, so the mathematician probably tell you what the numbers are at that point. Okay. But moving forward, it is an honor to be here and be able to share our stories and inspiration and thoughts and ideas with each and every one of you. And I have to say this, is I'm very humbled and proud to be able to sit on this panel with a new generation, so to speak. And I can say that because I'm a lot older than you folks. Okay? But it is an inspiration to be able to listen to you, listen to your stories, listen to your commitment to the future of being business owners, because I shared that many years ago. And here we are as owners. We're a privately held company. Started off with my wife and I. Today, American Facility Services Group is known as one of the largest facility maintenance management companies in the country that is owned by a Latino and a Latina. So we've come a long way, and there's a lot of pride. And you know, I would be really misleading each and every one of you if I said it all was because of me. You know, I did tell you that this was a partnership between my wife and I. She's Latina. We're Colorado natives. Pero yo hablo español. Si quieres hablar español, I can do that too. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're Colorado natives, both my wife and I. And we grew up in the farm fields of the southeastern part of this state. I first started working in the fields when I was 9 years old. Was that my inspiration to be a business owner? Well, I know one thing. Working in the fields at 9 years old, from sunup to sundown, told me that there's a different pathway to success. And there's nothing wrong with hard work. My tia and my mom and everybody always used to look at me, Chiquito, go a little faster, okay? So, you know, there's always that bit of encouragement that allows you to go to a different level in life. And that I just shared with you at 9 years old, I still remember it. And I think about today, because I go back to my home and I see those farm fields that I used to work at. And you know, and forgive me for saying this, at this point in my life, I could buy those farm fields. This is success that has been created in my life. But as I mentioned, this has never been just about me, Jerry Natividad. My wife and I as partners, and the hundreds of employees that this company employs today, it has been about them. In the business that we're in, we provide janitorial services. If you take a look around this room unto itself, every single thing here that you see is something that we touch. Whether it's the lights, the HVAC system, whatever the case may be, we touch that. And it's our employees. It's them. It's that individual that would come here at night in this building and clean that restroom that you all have visited, maybe, to make it be clean and sanitary for the next day. It's them. It's that person. It's that señora. It's them that have made and built this company, not me. I might have had the vision, but in the reality, it was the team that we put together for our American Facility Services Group. That team always consisted, and I'm going to say this with great pride, from our employees that I just described to the individuals that are changing lives and things of this nature. If you want to talk about Latinos, Hispanos, and Mexicanos, and all that different cultures, about 95% of all of our employees in the different states that we're in are all Hispanic, whether they're from Colombia, Mexico, wherever. Those are the individuals, those are the employees that we have. And let me say something else that I'm very proud of when we talk about how do you get to the top or how do you create success. Our management team, our executive management team, then and even now more so, has always consisted of more Latinos than others. From our chief financial officer, who actually grew up in Chihuahua and came to this country and ended up working for our company as a janitor. And when I found out he had an accounting degree from Mexico, and the gentleman was quite talented at being a chief financial officer, he went from cleaning a toilet to becoming our chief financial officer. And he served in that position for 25 years. And let me say this, when I tell you that I can speak Spanish, I have to thank Evaristo Barrera, because his English was very broken and my Spanish was not known. So we made an agreement with one another. Every time, when we're going to get together and have a meeting, you're going to speak in Spanish, I'm going to speak in English. And that's how I learned to at least be somewhat proficient in the Spanish language. But my point is this, is that during actividad in this business, it was each and every single employee that we had, and the diversity and the tendency for me to lean in the direction of Latinos, Hispanos, and in that direction. Today, after 34 years of serving as the president, this is something else that I'm very proud of. I have two individuals that are sitting in the audience, and on November 6th of this year, my daughter and my granddaughter will be taking over the operation of this big company. And I want to introduce them now. So Nicole and Jasmine, will you stand up and just... These two young ladies are already making the transition in our company, and let me say something that's extremely impressive to me. They built a new executive team. And that new executive team is of one ethnicity. Guess what that might be? All Latinos. All of them. Am I correct with that? They're all Latinos. They have brought in an incredible executive. I get emotional to hand off this company to these two wonderful women. And to see two young Latinas take over this company and create an executive team that matches the same plan that we've always had. So ladies and gentlemen, Jackie and the rest of the panel, I am very honored to be able to sit here with you. I'm humbled, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Such an amazing, amazing journey that they've all come. And, you know, every one of you, I love you guys. I really do. I appreciate you. And I hope you guys know that. And every person that I meet, I just want to dream with you. And I'm sure that you guys do that. And the reason I was chosen, I forgot to say who I am other than Jackie. I'm the president of Prospanica. And I was chosen by my board, and we were asking, and I'm also an entrepreneur. So I get your heart, I get the feeling, and I understand that it can be hard. But then at times it's so rewarding. And it's so amazing to hear these amazing stories and to also see that even out of the most difficult situations, the most beautiful gems come out, right? And then when you started something that you thought would be maybe a nonprofit, it turns out into a business, right? And then look at the scientists, right? You guys, wow, that was just like, and then, you know, and coming all the way from Venezuela to bring us so much information, just everyone. And then when I heard about Chamba, I'm like, what? There's an app out there, we can get people hired. It was so amazing. So every one of you are amazing. You guys, let's give them a hand of applause. Thank you everyone for being here and registering. Now we're going to get into the questions. I know Jerry touched a little bit about that cultural piece, right? And so that's what we want to know. How did you do this? Like, did you focus in the Latino community? And how did you do that? Did you see yourself as a competitive advantage or your target market? I know the questions are worded a little different, but that's really what we would like to know. How do you approach the cultural aspect of your culture or the culture you want to or have influenced in Colorado, which is the Latino culture? And in the spirit of the Hispanic Heritage Month, right, we think this is very appropriate, but you know, we celebrate Hispanidad all 365 days of the year, just so you know. And so also, we want to know did you decide to focus your business on the Hispanic community? And was it intentional? Was it by choice? Is that where your focus is? And just, I know, Jerry, you touched a little bit on this, and it was awesome. So you guys can answer however you want, pass the mic down. And I just think it's very important for us to understand what is your competitive advantage in that way. And the other one, how do you approach the community? And when you do, how do you do that? Like, what's the connection? And how did that translate into a business? So that you're not looked at as, you know, sometimes we're looked at like, you just conserve the community and never get paid, and you know what I mean? And so, how did you do that transition? So please, whoever wants to answer first, go ahead and let us know what you think.
I can start in the sense that for us in a media or news or content industry, the culture, the Hispanic culture is the basic element, is the input. We as a media report to Hispanic people, culturally Hispanic people. So we need to produce content, and then we use the culture not only in the language, because we produce content in Spanish, but also we produce content in English. But what is the key element is that we need to interpret or communicate using cultural elements to our readers. So we serve first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation. And there is a connection because we need to tell stories using culture. When you say a basic news that you can read in Denver Post or in 9 News, we need to create a story based on the same fact, but that have meaning for a people which is culturally Hispanic. So in our particular case, the culture is the basic element, and the cultural element in the way that we use that is the factor of success, because you need to create a story meaningful to people who have a cultural, is culturally Hispanic, even though they speak English or Spanish or not. And then this is our particular approach. And then, based on that, we create a natural linkage or connection with the community, because we need to be part of this community and understanding changes, understanding needs, understanding problems, meeting the people, knowing the people, and telling the story. So for us, the cultural aspect is the aspect that differentiates our work, because we are producing content for culturally Hispanic people.
So I maybe want to pick up a little bit more on some of the comments that I made to you in terms of the workforce. and by sharing with you that we are not only from the executive management side, but to the service delivery, predominantly Latinos. We stepped into this business knowing that those individuals that are employed to clean the restrooms, to do a lot of the maintenance work, happen to be Latinos. And so we knew that going into this thing. Now let me say this. As a Hispanic-owned maintenance management company, it's the other guys that are the big dogs. It's the non-Latinos, the non-colored owners that dominated. And let me give you an example of what I mean. Every single building that you see downtown, the maintenance, if the maintenance is hired out to a contractor, that maintenance company is typically owned by a non-Hispanic or a non-Black or whatever culture. They're typically owned by a Caucasian. And they employ Latinos. We stepped into this routine, into this world, knowing that it's going to be about, our success is going to be about Hispanic. And so the number one thing that we decided way back then is we're going to make sure that every single employee that comes to work with us, whether they're black, brown, whatever the color may be, we're going to make sure that they have the best work environment that they can possibly have. And they're going to treat them all extremely well. And it just turned out to be that many of them were Hispanic. And so, you know, our touch, the market that we're in, the business that we're in, is not driven at the Latino community, but guess what? Our employees are the ones that are delivering those services, and they're the ones that need to be respected. And we did that. And that's why there's success in this company. After 34 years, is because we created a great work environment. We respected the culture. We understood the struggles and the challenges that they had. And we helped them accomplish whatever they needed to accomplish for their families and their kids and things of this nature. So, and let me just touch on one other thing as we talk about the Latino community. And with this business, the success of this business has allowed me to do. And Jackie probably knows this, and so does my publication gentleman at the far end. How many times did you write about me? Did you get my campaign? You got my campaign. The U.S. Senate, yes, I read for the U.S. Senate. This gentleman in his newspaper was capturing all of that. But let me tell you, as we evolved and we became successful, it allowed me to step into the nonprofit community. I sat on the board of directors of the Denver Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for years, and I served as the chairman. I did this up and down here in Colorado in different Hispanic chambers. I served on the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and many other nonprofit organizations that were focused on one thing. What can we do to help the Latino community? So while it allowed me the time, this company allowed me the time, I reinvested that time and resources into ensuring that we always created educational foundation for the Latino community and many different other pathways so that our youth and even the young entrepreneurs here, I sat on the board of the SBA at one point in time, and my number one argument all the time was, how about us? How about us? When I was talking about to President Bush, I was saying, how about us? When I said us Latinos, how about us? So it gave me that opportunity to advocate. So when we talk about the Latino community, our target in our business is not the Latino community. But we know that when we go after our market, which is corporate America, when we go after our market, we know who are the individuals that are going to deliver the services. And Nicole and Jasmine, the president and the vice president, I'm sure they're going to follow that same plan. So we're never going to give up. We're going to continue to do as much as we can and be a door opener for Latinos from the educational point to the career point and on. So I just wanted to share that with the group.
Let me ask no, I need to say something.
Because I remember not only when you run for Senate, but when you receive prize in the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And then, yes, and then I remember the idea, the concept of family, because you are a family business. So you are providing an example of how to handle family business, which is an additional value of all of us, because we are family business, but run professionally, and then but the content, the values are there, are present. And then also, I would like that Tamil also refer to that, because this is another example in what I have been looking at you and your wife, and Tamil and her husband, running business. So this is an additional aspect important for the success of the Hispanic entrepreneurs.
So in our case at Raíces, we have 3 pillars. Comunidad, cultura, cerveza. Community, culture, cerveza. Everything that we do is around those 3 pillars, and they are interconnected. Okay? When we say community, it's about the general community, it's about groups, it's about individuals that they engage in the space, it's the facility space. But then we are very forefront about our cultura, about our Latinidad. And we are very aware that we are not an homogeneous group. We are a very heterogeneous group. And we are coming from different places. And there are people from here, from Mexico, Chicanos, right? And the history of this part that we really, people that feel very proud of the generations in here, and we acknowledge that. But also people that are coming from other locations, and that we want to represent them as well. So at Raíces, we were very into the identities of people and placing value. When we were doing the branding, because when you do a business, you need to talk about branding. You didn't know. We went deep, really deep. And the person that was, trying to facilitate this space, she was like, but please, let's keep it light. Don't go into the negative. And we were looking at that person, it's like, we need to go into the negative. Because that's what's happening in our communities. And we need to be true and genuine with what we are doing. We want to be intentional. And if we want to be very intentional, we need to talk about the problems. And we need to talk about the struggles. And our struggle is not about being belonging. It's about that people doesn't value us. And we sometimes don't value ourselves.
Yes.
And that's the main problem. So what we're going to do? We're going to run forefront with our cultura. That's what we're going to do. And that's why at Raíces, more than 350 programs per year are about community and cultura. Every single day you find a meetup, you find something about a specific country or countries together, or Dia de los Niños, or Dia de las Madres from different countries, or Dia de los Padres. Why? Because we are valuing those traditions and our values of family. Family value is very important to us. So, that's why we have a corner, not only a corner, but if you go to the back of Raíces, the kids are running over there, right? And people are like, what is this? Like, this is a Latino brewery. And it is because it's connected to our values, and it is connected to our pillars, and it was very intentional from the beginning. We wanted a safe space. We wanted a different space that we can identify with this space. And that's why Raíces is so important to all of us. And we wanted a space that if you didn't know that it was important to you, that your cultura was important to you, you will find out at our space. And that's why it's so important to have spaces like Raíces. And I think that through programming, through that organic space that you encounter each other, through that connection with other people, is when you find yourself that it is an asset. It is your power. And things are changing. Within the craft beer industry, and this happened in many different ways, including with people, we were assimilating in everything. And that was something that you had to do at some point in your life, especially in the past. If you didn't want to be segregated, oh yes, you need to be assimilated. But now, this is our time. This is your time. And I'm going to tell you why. Not because it sounds pretty. It's not about sounding pretty. It's about take a look at the GDP. Take a look about the power that you have as a Latino in this country. $3 trillion. That if you spend wisely, that means that you are the 5th country in the world rich. That you can spend on materials, on things, power to wow. Do we know that? Are we using it correctly? Are we supporting the causes and the people that we want to support? Do you know that the Latinos are the workforce that is coming? We are the demographics that are growing the most. Do you know your power? So why we have to assimilate in every single thing now? Use the power of your cultura and use your identities to really excel and really what you need to excel. And to really support the ones that are doing something different. Within the craft beer industry, we have since really no diversification. So Raíces is one of the craft breweries that is doing that. Not only by saying, oh, we are Latinos because we are Latino owners. It's not only about that. That third pillar, community culture cerveza, to us is not only about the quality of beer that we are creating, it's about the pipeline that we are creating. Have you been in Raíces? Have you seen our employees? Very intentional. We are creating opportunities for people that are underrepresented within the industry. That we are creating that opportunity for them to be within the industry. And maybe they are not staying at Raíces. We don't want them to stay at Raíces. We want them to start at Raíces and then move on within their industry. And that's what we want to do in all those industries that are moving on. And what's happening right now is that we need more. We need more people. And we need to really move forward with Latinos, Latinas. Only 0.2% Latina-owned breweries. Only 0.6%, less than 1% of Latino ownership within that industry. Okay? And that happens in other industries. If I compare that to consumption, and this goes across other industries as well, we are 14 to 20% in consumption. Okay? And we need to continue saying and establishing who I'm going to support and what is the impact that that company is doing within our communities. Is that coming back to my community? What they are doing for my community? That's something that we need to be very intentional as well. Not only as the owners and all that, but as a consumer. What can I do different? Who I want to support?
And this is why when they told me we're going to have 1 hour for a panel, I said, no, we have to have 1.5 hours. Because we're Latinos and we have a lot to say. This is awesome, guys. This is amazing. And this is the important piece of our panel, is you're listening to this piece because we want to know how to use the culture in the community for a competitive advantage. That was awesome. And you're right, we've got the purchasing power. It's getting there. And if we were a country, we'd be the 5th largest country in the world. So thank you for that.
I'll be brief and going off of what she was saying. There is more Hispanics in the U.S. than there is Canadians in Canada. So there's a lot of us here, right? But not only to sell, but how do we elevate this community? How do we give them the spotlight? How do we, for example, in the case of Chamba, how do we give them job opportunities with the respect and the elegance that they deserve? Even if it's in the blue-collar sector, in the blue-collar industry, how do we make those opportunities more accessible to them? And the reality is, you get to them through culture, through their language, right? Looking like them as well. So let's not ignore that market, and we have all the resources to go and get it.
And just to interrupt a little bit here, I'd like to just have you really quick tell us what Chamba does and how it works and how the app is, because I'd love for everyone to hear that. I think what you're doing is amazing, and you have a very strong competitive advantage, even for the generational gap, right? For people that use their cell phone.
Thank you. Yeah, so we use, go ahead.
Let me tell something about your business that it will be hard for you to say, but it's important that the people know. It was maybe at the middle of June or July 2021. I received a call from the company who represents the public relation of Comcast in Los Angeles, and told me, we will send you a list of the biggest, no sorry, it's not Comcast, it was Apple.
It was Apple, yeah.
Who sent me the list of the 10 startup companies who have been growing during the pandemic, and then you choose what you like, and then you can interview the people. I saw that Chamba was the third, was the biggest growth during the pandemic. And then this is the business that he has started. And for you, it will be maybe some hard to say you, but I know that.
Thank you.
Journalists here.
Thank you for sharing that. And what was the question? Sorry. No. So Chamba, what is Chamba? So my dad, he's a really hardworking man, and one of the barriers that he experienced when we first immigrated to this country was to find a job, and he needed to go in and knock on doors. So we saw that as the biggest problem with the Latino community, that we don't know where to go to look for jobs. We always ask our network, and then it stops there. So why not create a platform where all of the jobs are available, and then you get to choose whichever work you want to get, right, in Spanish. So that was truly why we started it, and how can we, the next question was, how can we scale, how can this be a scalable business? And then we started thinking about technology. Okay, so technology would allow us to grow at a very fast speed, to where now we got interest from Apple, and now we're 1 million users strong in the platform, all Latinos ready to
Do you focus on a specific type of job, or it's just any jobs where you want?
So right now we're focusing in the hospitality industry, so everything food and beverage, we have available pros to work.
Have you found a way to
Q&A has begun.
have you found a way, is there a way to work with Latinos that are just coming to the country and that are still facing the tax situation?
Correct, yeah, and I would love to connect with anybody that has more information on this, but we have two paths, and one is the W-2 route where you need authorization to work and all of that, but we also can enable a large workforce that's still in the shadows, who is everybody that's just getting here to the country. How can we activate them so they can work as service providers or anything like that with the 1099 route? So we're exploring that, and yeah, we'd love to talk to anybody that has information on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And in the spirit of, we want to open it up for Q&A, but I do want the last two panelists to tell us about their competitive advantage. Sneak your secret sauce in there if you like, it's fine. We'd love to know your secrets if you're okay with sharing them. I think it's awesome to be able to inspire other people. And I'll have a last question after you speak, and whoever wants to answer can answer. And we'll open it up because, like I said, literally, this is the only panel in all of this Denver Startup Week that has an hour and a half. I'm not kidding. Maybe next.
I started the Latina-owned collective because I was raised with the belief that Latinos are doubly valuable. I was raised by very Mexican parents. My dad was from Guadalajara, Jalisco. Era un hombre orgullosamente tapatío. And my mom was born and raised in Mexico City. And so I always had the belief that I was worth twice as much as my non-Hispanic counterpart, because that is what my parents taught me. They were like, you are bilingual, and so therefore, because you speak English and you speak Spanish, vales lo doble. You are worth twice as much. You are bicultural. You have the opportunity, the ability to connect with two different cultures, la cultura mexicana, or the Mexican culture, and the American culture. So since I was very, very young, I was like, I'm worth twice as much, right? Like that was just always the belief that I had. And so it wasn't until I went to college that I ran into different beliefs, let's say. I started having conversations with other Latinas in Colorado, and they were raised in completely different households. So when Tamir was talking about like the pride of like showing our cultura and being very like, yes, these aretes are from Mexico, and like, I've always been that way. But I realized that a lot of these women that I went to college with were not like that. They felt pressure to assimilate due to a lot of racism that they experienced. I grew up in a bubble in the mountains. I did not experience racism, and if I did, it went way over my head because I was just very naive. And so when I entered the entrepreneurial world in 2016, I was surrounded by men. I was surrounded by mostly white men, and that was fine, and I didn't think much of it. And it wasn't until I joined this B&I type of club run by a white male who said to me, this was back in 17, 18, I believe, my name was not a Latina-owned collective. Back then it was something else. So no, this must have been 2019. He said to me, he's like, why is your name called Latinas Who Dare? That was the original branding I gave it. And I was like, well, I named it that because I want to dare Latinas to become entrepreneurs. I want to dare Latinas to close their own wage gap. I want to dare Latinas to go after what they want. And he said to me, he's like, that is the stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. He's like, why are you pigeonholing yourself into only speaking to Latinas? And I was like, because I am a Latina, because I deeply understand this community, because I am this community. And I was like, you are literally the reason why I'm creating communities like mine, because I don't feel welcome in communities like yours. You have no idea what it's like to be a Latina or Latino living in the United States. You cannot possibly empathize with my perspective, nor can I empathize with yours, because I'm not a 6'5" white male that lives in the whatever suburbs of who knows where. So, so it's like, executives like yourselves are looking for that high quality business leadership, And you're looking for that hermandad, you're looking for that sisterhood, and you are worthy of having it because we are all, female or not, twice as worthy. This is a belief that I've been raised with. This is a belief I will carry with me until I die. This is something I stand by fiercely. And so that's why I launched the Latina Owned Collective. I was like, oh my gosh, Latinas absolutely deserve to have a space where we feel welcome, where we feel supported, where we feel like our cultura is, and our Latinidad is being elevated and celebrated, and we don't have to like dilute or like minimize our Latinidad because ¿qué van a pensar? ¿Qué va a decir la gente? Like, no, we can show up exactly as we are, and it's okay. And so the Latina Owned Collective is a membership-based community because I want us within our own community to refer business to one another. That like, if I need a real estate agent, I'm gonna go to mi amiga Elizabeth. If I need cleaning services, obviously I'm gonna go to you ladies. Obviously I'm happy to refer business your way because like, why wouldn't we keep the wealth and build the wealth within our community? Like my amiga Monica in the back, she is a business owner. If I need a photographer, I'm obviously gonna hire her. If I need operations.
She's a professional photographer today, by the way.
Give her a hand of applause. Like, surround yourself with people who are going to call your name out in a room full of opportunities. That is what the Latina Owned Collective is all about. And I saw this happening in white America, and I was like, we can do this for ourselves too. Like, what's preventing us from calling out this opportunities? Rosario, she's an LOC, she's one of our co-founders, and she does operations. Like, if you need systems and operations, Rosario's your girl. This is a community that I'm building, and this is a community that I stand by proudly, not only because I am this community, but I am proud to celebrate and elevate other Latina entrepreneurs and leaders.
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. What is my competitive advantage as a Latina, correct?
Or yourself. Yeah. So how does your business use the culture, the Hispanic Latinidad as a competitive advantage?
Well, I mean, what else? Mexicana, business partner Mexicana, sharing a piece of our culture through food. That's Dos Amigas. That was very intentional. We are very proud. I was not born in this country, so I'm an immigrant. Here in Colorado, I'm from Guadalajara, Eric is from Aguascalientes. The food, the Mexican food here has more of an influence from Chihuahua, which my mom's from Chihuahua, so don't get me wrong, I like it, but it's different. So yes, we were intentional on targeting the Latino community in Denver, Colorado. It's a huge, the Latino buying power, it's huge, and we don't underestimate it. They need also the convenience of delivery to your home, to your doorstep. There's no one else doing Mexican meal delivery like us.
And they're absolutely tasty, by the way.
So busy working families, busy Latino professionals. We've seen it all. We try to keep our radius as big as possible. We go all the way to Longmont, Boulder, south to Castle Rock because we are everywhere. We are everywhere. Latinos are everywhere, and they love it. Of course, if you are not a Latino, we welcome your business, and we want to share that piece of our culture with you and share the true, authentic flavors of more of the central part of Mexico. So you will not find a smaller burrito that's a Chihuahua or even Mexico. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the secret sauce is customer service has always been top of mind. We are very, very intentional on making sure you like it, and I think that's very cultural. Like, we love to cater to people, we love to feed people, we want to make sure you're happy. I'm a people pleaser, and I like it, and I think that's been the secret sauce, because anyone can, set up shop and start selling Mexican food. But when you're passionate, when you have an intention, and you believe in your product, I feel like that makes a difference.
You guys great opportunities. I see people writing notes. This is just great. I have other questions that kind of align, and most of you answered them in different ways. So I don't want to go into that lane. I want to open it up for other people since we have approximately 12 minutes left. And I know you have a lot of questions, and I know everyone's going to want to raise their hand and answer them. But please, just one person at a time. And if you have a specific person that you want to ask a question to, you can see their names right behind them and just go ahead and ask them. So we're going to open it to the Q&A. We'll borrow a mic, and we have Nubia's going to come around with the mic. And
I'm not shy.
she's a great, she's not shy, she's an amazing and come around and bring the mic to you. But please, feel free to ask questions. I mean, we have amazing entrepreneurs, you guys. We have so much to share here, so please ask a question. Anyone have a question, please raise your hand. Go ahead, Martha. I love you, Martha. I love you.
My question is for Diego. Why your name is Chamba?
Think of this way: if everything started here in the U.S., all of us ended up in China, and there was a platform called Jobs. Right, we would immediately connect with that. Right, if everybody spoke English, we were all living in China, and the only platform that we could connect to was the Jobs. Of course, we're going to go to that one. Right, so it's the same thing happening here in the United States. Champa connects directly with the Latinos. If you're from Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, you can relate to that name. That's what we named it that.
And when I hear chamba, it's like, vamos a la chamba, let's go work.
Estamos chambi.
Vamos a chambear. Anyone else have a question? Awesome.
Hello, I have a question. Any one of you can answer. What are your recommendations as Latin entrepreneurs to encourage us to tell people, the young students, to move towards sectors that are not blue collar? I mean, those are amazing and it's generous, and I love that we're supporting those sectors where we're in the United States, where there is science, technology, renewable energy, climate action. How would you encourage us to go for it? Thank you.
I've always had the belief that you can be what you can see. So to you, I would say surround yourself with people who are already doing what you want to do, and then lean on them for mentorship, ask them questions, take them out for some cafecito, and surround yourself with those people because they will be able to open doors for you because they've already opened those doors for themselves. That's my advice.
Yeah, especially because we are underrepresented in the science sector. So how we as Latinos can go for it. I just started my engineering consulting, and it was very difficult, to go for government contracts. And I cannot ask for cafecitos if we don't have representation. So how we can move forward that, and that is an opportunity for Champa, how we are encouraging these young Latinos, especially those who were born here, to go for engineering, science, medical, cybersecurity, etc. Sorry, I'm very passionate about it.
It's building that network, and it's on us as well to pave that way for the ones that are coming after us, right? So we really need to show face and go, through the finish line so we can help the next generation of entrepreneurs or professionals.
I have a quick piece of advice that has worked for me. I tend to be shy, believe it or not. I've built 2 successful businesses, and I consider myself, I get nervous, etc. However, I overcome that by thinking I come back stronger after putting myself in a difficult situation, in an uncomfortable situation, knocking doors. I've been able to work with presidential families, with Apple executives, and I show up, knock on doors, literally cold calling because I don't have connections or didn't have the connections or the resources that, a lot of people were born with that privilege, and we have to do it from the ground up. And my advice would be to overcome that fear. And yes, you're going to be nervous, But like, what better if there's no one representing or doing what you want to do? Imagine being the person knocking on that door, showing up.
I think part of that also has to do with like highlighting someone like, yeah, but like, hey, Chamba, an app, right? A Latino app, but also it's something that's in the technology business field, right? Or having our friend here in journalism highlighting those different areas of different Latino, Hispanic representations that are in that area. Also within the right, finding those mentors or finding those people that we aspire to be like, I think is very important. So that's why I'm very honored. I love to honor people. And honestly, this to me is huge because we're able to see that, but you're right, having those representations help. It helps us move forward, it helps us dream, and have a vision, and have something to look forward to being like, right, when we grow up. Go ahead, another question.
Can I answer?
Oh, yeah, this is the perfect person to answer that question.
I did engineering, by the way, and now I'm in the financial industry, so another underrepresented group. But for you, because I used to work in military contracts, I would leverage your local government. So look, find your local representative, mayor, senator, whoever. They can get you those connections for the military contracts. So that's my.
And get certified.
Yes. And military government contracts is really hard, no matter what.
Yeah, thank you. And Nubia, she's one of our partners.
Well, that's kind of fortuitous because I work from the city of Greeley and do economic development. So I kind of turned up today because we've got one of the youngest, fastest growing populations in Colorado, and a lot of that's to do with young Hispanic families. But so when we're looking 10 years out, we've got a demographic shortage. That's just something to consider. But actually, I was going to ask a slightly different question. So from my accent, I don't come from the US. I come from Ireland. And so when I moved from Ireland to England, there's a real culture shock. And so when I first went to England in the 70s, it was very hostile to be Irish in England. And you've had that over the centuries. 10 years later, after YouTube, music, everything like that, suddenly people were saying, "You're so lucky, you're Irish." This is English people. So I'm going to turn that around on you guys and say, are you seeing that? Where suddenly it's not cool to be from the other culture, and where you're starting to, do you see any signs of suddenly it's like, white people, Americans are jealous that you've got something that's kind of lacking in mainstream society?
And thank you for that question. I think what's happening, these are conversations I've had in a lot of corporate settings. White America is not comfortable with being a minority because they've never been a minority. And now they're suddenly they're not a minority yet, give it a couple decades. And that scares them a little bit. There's a little bit of uncertainty there. Yes, to answer your question, there's absolutely this shift in our culture. I've noticed that where perhaps in the past a lot of Latinos felt the strong desire to assimilate. Now it's almost like we can relax a little bit. We're just like, oh my gosh, I can show up exactly as I am, and no one's going to yell something obscene or profane on the street for showing up as I am. And so there is this shift happening, and I think a lot of us, I hope, are leveraging it in a positive way, in a mutually beneficial way, not in a derogatory or detrimental way. But I would be remiss to say that it's not happening. It is, and it seems as though it's like trendy to be Latino right now.
It's cool.
So I want to say something about this, because there is a genuine piece that it is about Being a Latino is cool, a genuine piece, and there is other things that are happening that are not so genuine. And I want to talk about those because I want people to be aware. And it's about profit. And it's about business. I'm going to talk about craft beer, which is the one that I'm on right now. Since 2014, they noticed that the craft beer industry is going to go into a plateau. And that plateau is here now. In terms of who's going to buy craft beer, that has been buying craft beer, males and Anglos. That has been the demographic that has been buying for a long, long time and went into a plateau. So how you're going to do profit now? You're going to make profit by bringing another demographic into the picture. What is the other demographic that is growing? We just said it. Latinos. So why you're seeing all those marketings about micheladas? Beautiful micheladas in all different colors, and now everybody, the Budweiser and the Coors, and they're just like splashing colors of micheladas. Is because they really like micheladas? No, they like profits. Ojo, lo que estoy diciendo. So there is some genuine parts where, of course, some of the Latinos, like Raíces, we are trying to be genuine, authentic about what we are doing, and when we're exposing a product, it's because we really want to expose it in a good light and all of that. I'm not throwing people up and down. We are very collaborative. I'm going to say that right now. That's what we do with Suavefest and all these different things. And we have been collaborating with many different breweries, not only the Latino ones, but all the community. But I want you to know that that's happening in all the industries. Buying power, what I said about GDP, as well. So we need to be very careful about this. I always if you're gonna do, and this is about the other side, the business that are trying to market for Latinos. You need to be very careful with our values. I've seen marketing and advertisement that they use, I don't know if you have seen this, but it just breaks my heart. They're as a family, and the guy that is the person of the family is talking to the grandmother as a dismissible person of the family. Oh, we have a lot of expenses, so the grandma needs to go. Wow. Not on our culture. And then we see other good marketing advertisements. I don't know if you have seen this one. McDonald's. It's the first day of the kid. It's the first day that he is over there working, and the first customers are the parents. And they're going to the drive-thru, and they're ready for the camera and taking the picture of his son working for the first day. That's a good one, because we are like that. We want to be there for our son on the first day. And there is another one that is the grandson trying to learn all these Spanish words, so when the grandmother gets to the home, he can speak to her and say where is going to be her bedroom. And then he forgets when he saw her, he forget the word, and you see the love of the grandmother talking in English and saying, "You want to say this, right?" And then they both go together inside the home. That's our body. So we have to be very careful. And people on both sides, we need to know how to market, how to say it, what is important to us, and just be respectful of who we are as Latinos.
That's great.
Thank you.
Great question. Thank you.
Jackie, can I just Evelyn, the word that you're referring to is a word called Hispandering. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I just reposted this to my personal LinkedIn page. I will read you the definition. Hispandering, these are not my words. The act of pandering to the Hispanic community, typically by politicians or organizations or businesses, looking to attract the Hispanic audience. So this post started off with a question. Is it Hispanic/Latinx allyship and support, or is it Hispandering, which is what Tennille is referring to, because when we are inevitably marketed to during Hispanic Heritage Month by corporations, by businesses that neglect us the rest of the 11 months of the year, we're just like, well, that's inauthentic of you. Like, qué conveniente que during Hispanic Heritage Month, de repente sale McDonald's or Coors or whoever, and it's like, look at all the colors, and look, we're trying to connect with you. And to us, we're just like, no, you're just trying to turn a quick profit because you know the value of our market, and then suddenly now you pay attention to us for 1 month, but you neglect us for the rest of the year. So I agree with you 100%. If you want to look it up a little bit more, it's kind of a long post, but I reshared it to my LinkedIn page. Hispandering is the word.
It's good to know that there's a word out there now, right? And it's true. It's very true. And I want, I kind of want to talk on that really quick. Even don't kick us out because I know we're past the 4 o'clock here. Because I do want them all to say just one word before we end, and we do want to take pictures. And I do want you to see the cookies that have our logo on there. And please feel free to take them. And they're amazing. And I also want to talk to you about our 29th event really quick, so you'll see a QR code so you can register. You guys all exclusively are invited to come next Friday, the 29th, to our conference. But I want to say that it is very important to know that there is a word, and everything you guys are saying it's amazing. It's true. But we also have to understand that we want to weigh that, right? Because then sometimes we start thinking we want to see things out there, and then when we do see them, we have to kind of figure out if this is Hispandering or if it's really something genuine that is out there not only during Hispanic Heritage Month, but other times. Because I also genuinely feel like we're getting out there and we're getting people to represent us, which is why to me it's an honor to have every one of you here, because you are making that difference, genuinely. And that's why being understanding how the cultural impact plays a role and how we all genuinely have aligned with that and have brought that out there as a competitive advantage, not so much to make the profits, but to bring who you are to our community, right? And to bring your passion and to bring what your story is to a target market that now is your audience, right? Is very important for us to highlight. And I think that we don't want to lose that, and not just because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, but because we want to see this all the time. So everyone that's here and whoever's watching, just know that you have an amazing future, amazing life, and you have so much to give. I always say we all have this fingerprint. No one is the same, but we all have a key. And if we can use that key to open doors for everyone else and help each other out, I think that's going to be amazing. So learning from our panelists today has been absolutely phenomenal. We got to hear your secret sauce. We got to hear a new word. Thank God now there's a word. And we understand more, I feel, right, of what you've gone through and how you've kind of gone through this journey that you just, where you are now, talking to us and teaching us so much. So you guys, let's give them a huge round of on LinkedIn. Oh, it's Q&A now. I invite you to connect with them on LinkedIn, take pictures with them. Again, this is our QR code. I invite you to come the 29th and to hire Latinos, find Latinos, meet Latinos. And if you want to speak, be a part of Prospanica, we want to encourage you to be the person that you know you're supposed to be. If you're not yet, because I'm sure everyone here is already who you're supposed to be. But anyway, so one word, guys, like flash. Please don't kick us out. It's 4:08. So we're Latinos. So one word. Whatever the word that comes to your mind, and a word that will impact this room, what is your word? Prosperidad.
Mine is gratitude.
Gratitude.
I would say passion.
Yes, passion.
Doubly valuable.
I would say equipo.
Team.
Aspiration.
Aspiration. Un aplauso.
Thank you so